It was a lazy Saturday afternoon in Pinewood Estates, the kind where the sun feels like a warm hug, and all I wanted was to kick back by the community pool with a gritty crime novel. My plan was simple: snag a lounger, slather on some SPF 50 because skin cancer is no joke, and lose myself in a world of shady detectives and double crosses. The pool was its usual weekend chaos. Kids cannonballing, teens posing like they're auditioning for a reality show, and adults pretending they didn't mind the noise. I just settled in, sunglasses slipping down my nose, when a scream cut through the air, not the playful kind, but one that made my stomach lurch. Across the pool, near the shallow end where the tiles always had this gross green film, a guy Tom, I later learned, was grabbing his chest, his face twisting in pain. His wife, Lisa, who I vaguely remembered from a potluck where the HOA served rock-hard dinner rolls, was by his side in a flash, her face pale with fear. "Tom, Tom, stay with me," she cried. The pool went dead silent, like someone hit mute on the world. Then came the shout, "Call 911." My fingers were already fumbling for my phone, dialing as my heart raced. A guy in neon swim trunks, built like he lifted weights for breakfast, yelled, "Anyone know CPR?" He sprinted over, dropping to his knees. "I got this. Where's the AED?" The 8-Hour Neighborhood's shiny new toy, hyped up in a 3-page HOA newsletter about its life SAVYing powers, was supposed to be in a bright red cabinet by the pool gate. But when Neon Trunks yanked it open, it was empty. My jaw dropped. Empty? In a moment like this? That's when she appeared, Margaret Voss, the HOA president, striding in like a general in a lime green sundress. Her voice boomed, calm but smug, like she was addressing a room of idiots. "I've secured the automated external defibrillator in the HOA office. There were concerns about kids messing with it. It's safe now." "Safe?" Tom was flat on the concrete, Neon Trunks pumping his chest like a metronome, and Lisa was sobbing, "He's dying, you idiot." The HOA office was locked tight on weekends, and Margaret? She was the only one with the key. "Protocol," she said, folding her arms. "Page 9, Section 4 of the HOA Guidelines." I could have screamed. This wasn't just annoying, it was deadly. Margaret was ready to let red tape kill a man. That's when it hit me. My gadget, my ridiculous "why did you buy that, Mike?" cardiac response drone. "Hang on," I shouted, already bolting for my lounger, my novel hitting the deck. Margaret's eyes narrowed. "Mr. Larson, this is an official emergency. CIVYLENs can't interfere with HOA procedures." "Yeah, Margaret, that's why we need the AED. You've got locked up like it's Fort Knox." I snapped, dodging a kid with a flow tie as I ran for the gate. My house was a 2-minute sprint from the pool, a fact I usually cursed when Margaret was out measuring my grass blades. Today, it was a godsend. My flip-flops slapped the pavement as I raced home, my mind on the 0-2000 my lifeline hawk, as I called it. My wife, Emily, had laughed when it arrived, still in its massive box in the garage. "Another toy, Mike? What's next? Drone-delivered pizza?" "It's a medical delivery system," I'd argued, while VYing the manual. "It could save a life. Or crash into Mrs. Carter's maple tree," she teased. "No time for that now." I ripped open the box, powered up the drone, and synced the controller. The Lifeline Hawk hummed to life, its blue and white frame gleaming like something from a sci-fi flick. "Come on, Hawk," I muttered, my fingers sweaty on the touchscreen. Target, Pinewood Estates pool. Payload, 1 AED. Avoid one overzealous HOA dictator. Back at the pool, the air was thick with panic. I could hear it from my driveway: Neon Trunks grunts, Lisa's cries, and Margaret's voice, probably lecturing on CPR form. The drone lifted off, wobbling as I fumbled the joystick, then steadying as I got the hang of it. Its camera feed popped up on my screen, showing my neighbor's roses, and then there she was. Margaret, phone to her ear, likely calling everyone from the mayor to the CIA about my rogue aircraft. Her head snapped up as the drone's whine filled the air, her face morphing from fury to disbelief. "What in the name of community bylaws is that?" she shrieked. The Lifeline Hawk soared over the fence, the crowd below pointing, some with hope, others with confusion. "It's a drone," someone yelled. "It's out of box." Margaret flailed like a windmill. This VY OLAT's Section 8, subsection C of the Pinewood Estates Charter. I ignored her, my eyes glued to the screen. The drone hovered above Tom, and I hit the deploy payload button. A compartment opened, and the AED, in a neon orange pouch, lowered on a tether like a gift from the heavens. It landed softly beside Tom, just as sirens wailed in the distance. 1 minute, 52 seconds. That's how long it took to get the AED on site. Neon trunks tore open the pouch, slapping the pads on Tom's chest. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. The Lifeline Hawk had done it. Then, through the pool gate, came 2 cops, their faces grim. Margaret, recovering her voice, pointed at me in my driveway, controller in hand. "Officer, that man, mister. Larsoni's terrorizing this community with an illegal drone. He's impersonating a paramedic." The younger cop with a mustache that screamed, "I take my job too seriously." Glanced from the drone now, hovering innocent light on me, then to Tom, where his partner was checking VY towels. The older cop, Officer Daniels, sighed like he'd seen every neighborhood drama twice. "Ma'am," he said to Margaret, "can you just not talk for 5 minutes?" I smirked. Paramedics swarmed in, stabilizing Tom with crisp efficiency. Lisa, tears streaming, grabbed my arm as they wheeled him out. "Thank you," she whispered. "You saved him." Margaret wasn't done, though. She cornered the mustache cop, gesturing wildly. "The audacity, officer, flying that machine over innocent families. Think of the children." Officer Daniels ambled over to me, notebook in hand, but in used. "Cardiac response drone, huh?" he said, eyeing the Hawk as I guided it back to my garage. "New toy. Seemed like a good idea," I said, wiping sweat from my brow. "Even better when the HOA locks up the AED." He nodded, scribbling something. "Quick thinking, Larson. You probably saved that man's life. As for the drone, there's some city rules about flying over crowds, but..." He shrugged. "Let's call this a creative fix to a life-threatening screw-up by someone's astonishing incompetence." I coughed to hide a laugh. "Incompetence? That's Margaret's middle name." He muttered, "Tell me about it," then waved off the crowd. Margaret, fuming, promised a full statement at the station, but Daniels shut her down. Tom was loaded into the ambulance, alive, and I felt a warmth that had nothing to do with the sun. The fallout was wild. Margaret hit me with a stack of HOA violation notices thicker than my novel. Unauthorized drone use, DULA 250 fine. Causing public alarm, DULA 150. Failing to get HOA approval for aerial equipment, DULA 300. My favorite, undermining confidence in HOA protocols. Fine, priceless, pending re-VYEW. Emily lost it, laughing so hard she cried. Public alarm? "Mike, you're a menace to tranquility." The notices were absurd, but the neighborhood was buzzing. Mrs. Carter's shaky phone VY Deo of the drone landing went VY Ral on the local Facebook group, with comments like, "Mike's a hero," and "Margaret's a walking lawsuit." Tom's family sent a fruit basket the size of a small car, which Emily immediately raided, muttering about my cholesterol. Margaret, stung by the backlash, doubled down. She called an emergency HOA meeting, proposing aerial security enhancements to stop my rogue drone. First up was Carl, a net-obsessed contractor whose van screamed, "Nets are us." He pitched a giant, UV-resistant net over the pool, like a sci-fi spiderweb. "Stops any drone dead," he beamed. I leaned on the fence, biting back a grin. "Carl, you want to trap us in a fishnet? No sun, no breeze, just leaves and frisbees piling up." Margaret glared, but Carl deflated, his net dreams dashed. Next was Vince, a shady guy in a shiny suit, offering a military-grade signal jammer to fry any drone circuits. "It'll drop them like flies," he whispered, patting a box of blinking antennas. I raised an eyebrow. "Vince, that's illegal. Also, what about cell phones? Pacemakers? The pool's Wi-Fi pump?" He waved me off, muttering about minor inconveniences. Emily whispered, "He's one step from selling tinfoil hats." Margaret loved it, but I pointed out it had turned the pool into an algae swamp and blocked 911 calls. then slunk away, offering me a personal EMP shield cap. Hard pass. Then came Raven, a camo-clad woman with a golden eagle named Major Dwight D. Eisenhower on her arm. Her pitch, a squad of drone-hunting eagles. Swift, silent, eco-friendly, she said, as Major Dwight shrieked. They eat local rats, so it's pest control too. Margaret was mesmerized, but I couldn't hold back. Raven, you're saying we unleash attack eagles on kids' toy drones? What if Major Dwight snags Mrs. Carter's poodle instead? The eagle glared like I'd insulted his honor. Raven smirked. My bird know a drone from a dog, Mr. Larson. Margaret called it VY cyanary, but I saw lawsuits and bird poop raining down. The HOA meeting was a circus. The clubhouse, usually empty except for bad yoga classes, was packed. Margaret, behind a wobbly table with a faded Pinewood Excellence banner, wielded a tiny gavel like a scepter. Her allies, nervous accountant Pete and sour-faced Helen, flanked her. Margaret's speech painted me as a reckless VY Gillante, my drone a threat to poolside serenity. She pushed for fines in her anti-drone plans, calling them VY Tau to our safety. I stood, notes scribbled on a VY Olation notice. Look, folks, you saw what happened. Tom was dying, and the 8-hour AED, paid for with our dues, was locked up by Margaret. My drone's not a toy. It's built to deliver medical gear fast. It got the AED to Tom in under 2 minutes, and he's alive because of it. I held up the notices. Causing public alarm? A heart attack's way more alarming than a drone. Needing HOA approval for emergencies? Should I file a form before doing CPR? The crowd chuckled. Margaret's face tightened. I turned to her plans. A net that blocks the sun? Jammers that kill our phones? Eagles that might eat our pets? These aren't solutions theory insane. The real issue is the AED. It should be out, ready, no keen needed. The room nodded. Then Officer Daniel spoke up, off-duty but commanding. The police report praises Mr. Larson's quick thinking. It also notes the HOA's locked AED caused the delay. Margaret sputtered, but the crowd was mine. Then Raven stood, her voice calm but sharp. Mrs. Voss, you hired me to target Mr. Larson's drone, saying you wanted to teach him a lesson. You even asked if my eagle could steal his keys and drop them in bushes. The room gasped. My eagles aren't for revenge, Raven said, withdrawing her proposal. You need to rethink your priorities. She walked out, a queen exiting a farce. Margaret exploded. This is a conspiracy, she screamed, slamming her gavel so hard it snapped, the head bouncing off Pete's forehead and landing in Helen's coffee. Pete, shockingly, spoke up. We should table the fines and focus on an unlocked AED cabinet with backups. Helen, to everyone's shock, agreed. The vote passed in a landslide. Margaret sat, defeated, her empire crumbling. Life in Pinewood got better. A new AED cabinet gleamed by the pool, unlocked and ready. Tom recovered, while VYing at me with a grin, calling me drone guy. Kids on me like I might drop candy from the sky. Margaret was quieter, her fire dimmed by the gavel fiasco and Raven's bombshell. But she had one last jab. A $10 fine for Leah VYing my garage open, exposing the aesthetically displeasing drone. I framed it, hanging it beside the Lifeline Hawk, now sporting a decal. Pinewood Hero craft handle with care. Emily just laughed. You're never letting this go, are you? Never, I said, grabbing my novel and heading to the pool. The chlorine scent hit me, and I smiled. For a guy who wanted a quiet day, I'd stirred up one hell of a story. And you know what? I might just cause a little more public alarm if the chance comes. So what do you think? Was I a hero or a troublemaker? Should HOAs have this much power, or are they just petty kingdoms? Would you trust an eagle to guard your pool or stick with a drone? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more wild tales. Let's get this debate going.